Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Thursday morning to you all. Hope you guys are doing well out there this morning and having a fantastic start to your day. And I hope you folks have been having a great week out there so far as we are a little bit closer to our last weekend of 2023. Here to give you an update on what's going to happen weather-wise for your Thursday. There's a few things to talk about. We're going to have another shot at some snow around the St. Louis area, Missouri, Illinois, surrounding states. Eventually, this snow will make its way into the Mid-South region, the Southern Appalachian Mountains. We'll speak on that, give you guys updated information on that. We got some rain that we're dealing with in New England. We got rain in Florida. We have some rain in the Pacific Northwest. We'll speak on all of those features in today's forecast portion of the video. And then, of course, we'll move forward and speak on all the energy we've been talking about over the last several videos, what it means, the latest information we have on it. Speaking on this pattern change where, we're just getting some marginal cold air, but that marginal cold air is enough cold air for some snow in areas that really haven't seen much of it so far this winter. So we'll speak on that. We'll break down each individual system that I'm watching, what it means, what we know now. And then I'm watching, and we'll speak on this right at the end of the video. We'll do it again this evening's video. I'm watching some significant changes as we enter sort of the middle portion of January. I know that's on out there, but man, confidence as far as the ensembles are screaming this to happen. So we're going to speak a little bit on that and my take on it right at the end of the video. So if you folks have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. If you guys got anything that I can pray about or pray over, as always, please put those in the comments below so I can do that and so others can see it and do it also. So let's get rocking and rolling this morning. We got a little bit of snow falling across the middle of the country. Kansas, they have seen on and off snow showers the last couple of days, even outside the main storm system you guys got around Christmas time and the day after. But we're still seeing some flurries, light snow out there, cold enough for some additional light accumulations. It is snowing in southern sections of Illinois. I saw some reports in this area, and there's actually snow hitting the ground. So this is actually falling in the form of snow. A little bit more snow worked its way into the St. Louis area into the wee hours of the morning. It might be snowing around the area right now. You guys will have to let me know. But this is that second push we've been talking about over the last couple videos that I think could drop some accumulation. And, I was watching some live feeds around St. Louis yesterday afternoon, got really slow at work, and it looked like it was trying to stick at certain times of the day when it was really coming down. But then, of course, when it lesses up, when it kind of goes down in intensity as far as the snow falling, then with temperatures above freezing, it starts to melt. And that's the thing with these upper level lows. There's never a lot of cold air associated with them, but you really need heavy rates to really pick up some accumulation to really cool down the ground temperatures. And I think we'll see that as this continues to pivot down to eastern Iowa, most of Illinois down to Missouri, heck, maybe all the way down to northeast Arkansas eventually later tonight. Just rain falling in southern New England. This is all heavy rain, just continues to be the story of the last several months. And then we got a system down here that's really just impacting Florida. So bringing you guys really a rainy start to your Thursday, a little bit of rain out here in the Pacific Northwest. But as far as the Storm Prediction Center, the only area we'll watch out for thunderstorms is south of Miami. You got to get to the southern tip of Florida, Key West region, Florida Keys, but no real risk of thunderstorms today really for anybody. And then flooding risk is below 5%, so it doesn't even show up on this map. So we don't have to really deal with any flooding issues for today. Watches, warnings, and advisories. It's quiet. They are not confident enough, obviously, in the St. Louis area and surrounding areas of Illinois, Missouri, Indiana, southern Wisconsin, to put winter weather advisory criteria snow in the forecast. So therefore, they're not issuing any kind of winter weather advisories in this area for St. Louis, for anybody surrounding Peoria, Carbondale, anybody in these areas, Mount Vernon, Springfield. They're just not confident enough that you're going to get enough snow to warrant a winter weather advisory. This could change. I would stay tuned to any kind of alerts. Are we going to get any kind of winter storm warnings in this area today? Absolutely not. That's not going to happen, but, we'll watch. We do have winter weather advisories where confidence is definitely there that we're going to have accumulating snow. up here in Maine. We'll speak on that system also. Let's talk about the southeast first. We're dealing with that rain in Florida this morning. Heavy at times. It's a washout this morning in certain areas. This will continue to make its way through. There's that risk of thunderstorms. You see the yellows, the orange, and reds down here in the southern tip of Florida. Could get some thunderstorms to make its way through. Don't be surprised if you get some thunderstorms in the Miami region a little bit later this morning around midday. The rest of the southeast, though, even Florida, this rain eventually clears out as some dry air finally works in, even for Florida. And, it'll be a cool day across most of the southeast. Some areas will still get into the 60s, maybe even 70s in Florida. But here comes the moisture beginning to show up on the picture here for this upper level low. This will just be in the form of some rain showers in western Tennessee, the kind of the Mississippi Delta region, the Mississippi River region, just some rain showers. But here comes more moisture entering the picture. And we're going to speak more on this here in a second. This is just snow for... this is most likely light to moderate snow for Missouri, Illinois. But as you work your way into later this evening, we're, about 9 to 10 p.m. at this point, you're starting to see some rain showers, maybe enough cold air for some of this to fall in some flurries around the Nashville area. It's even showing up on the HRRR model for like northern Alabama. So we'll see if that actually happens, enough cold air, and then we're waking up tomorrow morning, maybe some flurries around northwest Georgia, maybe the Chattanooga area. Maybe some flurries flying around potentially in northern Alabama. And then you're waking up tomorrow morning. We're going to get a little bit closer on this here in a second. For northeast and northern sections of Arkansas, some light, maybe at times moderate snow working through the Boot Hill, Missouri, and around the Jones, kind of like the, Jonesboro, Arkansas region. We'll watch in this area. We will. Flurries flying around and snow showers flying around in western Kentucky. So we'll get a little bit closer look at this. Don't want to speak too much, I already have. But we'll zoom into that area here in a second. Up here in the northeast, you're dealing with, kind of like Florida. Florida and southern New England dealing with a washout this morning. Probably some gusty conditions in southern New England. Nothing too bad as a low is trying to develop right here. There's enough cold air anchored in here in northern Maine for this to be in the form of maybe some snow as we are making our way into later this evening. In fact, not maybe, most likely. But we will deal with this rain in like the Boston area, areas of southern New England, southeast Mass throughout the afternoon, even get into this evening. Then it'll just move off the coast and inland, onshore, into the coastal regions of Maine. Later this evening, at the same time, we have just ongoing showers. Just a showery kind of light rain kind of day in eastern PA, New Jersey. I think we'll be dealing with some dampness in the Delmarva region too. Most of New York just seeing on and off light rain. Southern Ontario, this is just rain. Ohio, some showers on, just kind of out and about. Not a washout, but just some showers out there. Could get some flurries later tonight. Some light snow showers in southwest Ohio. It's very possible, but you stop it here. You're starting to get into Friday morning. And then this is when a winter weather event will begin to take over the northern and maybe even central portions of Maine, where you do have winter weather advisories. A little bit of ice, a little bit of snow. Everybody else just dealing with good old rain for most of New England. So as far as rainfall between now and tomorrow evening, most of this will fall today in southern New England, but you could get an inch of rain, additional rain in New York City, Long Island, southern New England, anywhere from 3/4 of an inch of rain to maybe an inch and a quarter, and then maybe a half an inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain here in southeast New Hampshire, and then along the coastal regions of Maine and just inland, some good, another good soaking rain. I wouldn't call it good at this point because you guys have already gotten a ton of rain. You guys will get some rain also further inland, just not big totals, maybe a 1/4 inch to a half an inch of rain, enough to certainly create some soaking conditions. We'll give you an update on the winter weather portion of this event. Just give me a minute. There will be a tab for that up. So for you folks tuning in from Maine, which is really the only area that will see any kind of winter weather from this, definitely take advantage of that timestamp, which I will have these up throughout the video. Waking up this morning, the HRRR model's picking up on that light snow action pretty well, kind of surging through northern Kansas and central Kansas and southern sections of Nebraska. Got a little bit of activity trying to be here. I don't know if that's actually showing up on radar very well, though. Let's see. It is. It's a little bit. I'm not sure if you guys what y'all are seeing kind of like the Kansas City region. But we'll keep this going, guys. And really the big storyline is, and yes, we could get a little bit of light snow, light rain all the way into western sections of Oklahoma. But the big storyline is this slug of moisture diving down. And we're going to go on and zoom into this right now. So This is verifying pretty decently. This is a little bit further south, but then again, we are starting this at around 6 a.m. I believe it's, well, no, it's about 6 a.m. out here now. So this is verifying a little bit further south, but all in all, the HRRR model is doing a decent job at how this is actually looking out there right now. But if you're confused about the time range in this at all, this is 10 a.m. Eastern time. So this is in Central time. Back this up 1 hour. So we're at 9 a.m. You see this coming in from the north. I think it'll start snowing in Rockford. This will start to move into the Davenport region. So it'll be snowing, potentially pretty heavily for you folks down here in like eastern Iowa. Certainly some heavy bursts of snow in northern Illinois. That starts to move in and take over areas of Peoria. I'm trying to think of some towns in Illinois. Don't be mad if I don't mention your town, but Springfield, Illinois, you guys will begin to see some maybe moderate snow. If you can get a period of heavy snow, this will overcome any kind of warm ground temperatures. And, you could get a coating of snow on the ground pretty quick, and then that's when accumulations really start. So we're getting into about 3, 4 p.m. This is mainly rain down here. Rain showers could be mixing with a little bit of snow, especially in these higher hilly regions of western Arkansas and eastern Oklahoma. But this is when you watch to see if it's going to do any kind of, is there going to be any kind of surprises. We're starting to get to about 7 p.m. at this point, dinner time. More moisture begins to move into the St. Louis region. Even some snow falling again up here in northeast Missouri, northern Missouri. A little bit of snow making its way into Columbia, also Missouri. Still snowing up here in eastern Iowa. Snowing in central and especially western Illinois. And this is really just bullseyes, kind of the St. Louis region. At this point, it's around 10 p.m. If the HRRR model is correct, you got some pretty heavy snow falling around the St. Louis area. And the sun's already went down. It's starting to get deeper into the night. So this could favor some accumulations. So this continues to make its way south and kind of wrap around this upper level low. And then by the time you get to about 4 or 5 a.m., this starts to move into the Boot Hill, Missouri. It's snowing in Carbondale. It's still snowing up here in St. Louis. Still snowing up here in Springfield. Heck, probably still snowing in Peoria. And we do have a little bit of snow showing up in Evansville that can move in overnight tonight. Can it make it to Indianapolis? I think it's possible. We'll watch. Lafayette, I think you can get some snow from this later tonight, maybe, but you're away from that cold core aloft, that cold air aloft. You're really away from that. So I think you're going to struggle with temperatures, but this area is really favored. Heavier precipitation, dynamic cooling, cool air aloft, cold air aloft. I think this is a favored area right into here. So you keep this going, you're waking up Friday morning. You could have a snowy start to your morning around the Boot Hill, Missouri, kind of the Jonesboro region, northeast Arkansas, almost said northeast Colorado. And even look in the Dyersburg region, Memphis. You're starting to see some snow flying around. We'll zoom back into this for tomorrow here in a second, but we'll go on and stop it right here. Getting into about early to mid-morning St. Louis, you still got some snow flying around. So what about the NAM? We'll go through this a little bit quicker. The NAM is about the same way, guys. It has a little bit of snow reaching a little bit further west and a little bit more snow reaching a little bit further east. This would, throw a period of snow in Lafayette. This would bring a several-hour period of snow in like the Evansville area, Carbondale region, everybody in southern Illinois. This would bring snow all the way down to the Owensboro, I think it's Owensboro or Owensburg, Kentucky. I'm sure somebody will correct me in the comments. This would try to swing some snow all the way down to the Bowling Green region as we're waking up tomorrow morning. And, this is what it could look like around 6, 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Same thing as the HRRR model. A period of light and moderate snow, potentially burst of heavy snow all the way down to northeast Arkansas. So it's a pretty nice look if you like snow. It really is. It's not going to be enough snow. I think if you can I'm not going to rule out a heavier period of snow to accumulate on the roads, but I think this will more so be grassy surfaces. So this is the National Weather Service forecast. They're not being bullish at all. And you know what? You can't really blame them. You're going to be dealing with temperature issues. And when you have temperature issues, if you do not have consistent periods of moderate to heavy snow, you're going to struggle with accumulation. So what I'm saying is, saying you're in St. Louis and later this evening, you get a period of really heavy snow and you're thinking, oh man, this is really starting to accumulate. All of a sudden we got quarter, half inch of snow on the ground, enough to make those grassy surfaces kind of white. and then it lightens up for about an hour. Just light snow. If the temperatures are still at 33, 34 degrees, that's probably going to melt. If they're around 30, 29 degrees or something like that, probably not melt as much, but they still might melt a little bit because the ground temperatures are still trying to cool down in these regions. They're getting cooler compared to yesterday, but still not quite there yet. This is not like this is a frigid storm. This is really a warmer storm, honestly. But you could have melting. And then if you have another burst of snow, it'll probably do it again. But then if it lightens up, it'll melt. That's why they're going with conservative amounts, in my opinion. But you do have some areas that's showing up around the St. Louis area, maybe, a half inch to an inch of snow. I think that's a good forecast. Southern sections of Illinois, central, northern. Somebody might squeeze in anywhere from a half an inch to an inch and a half of snow. It does not give much love at all. It doesn't give any love to Northeast Arkansas. And this is just between now and, Friday evening, which is the whole duration of this event right into here. But you look at the blend of all models, I could see this happening too. I would say this is more so the aggressive scenario. I'm not going to show you the snowfall accumulations from the HRRR model and NAM. The HRRR model, not as bad as the NAM. The NAM always, there goes the nose itching. Here we go. The NAM, we call it getting NAMmed in the weather community. It's when, the NAM wants to throw on this huge bullish scenario where, like, for example, I believe yesterday, the NAM wanted to give St. Louis like 8 inches of snow. It's not happening. It's not. If it does, you guys can make me eat the crow all day, but it's just not happening. But the blend of all models does dump an inch or so of snow on St. Louis, and it does favor this area in southern Illinois right into here, okay, with maybe an inch or two. Does not like the idea of maybe a half inch, an inch of snow falling in southern Missouri like the National Weather Service says. So we'll see what happens. The blend of all models does throw a bone to you folks in Northeast Arkansas, and I think that if you can get a burst of heavy enough snow tomorrow morning in Northeast Arkansas, I think you can get a dusting of snow. I really do. But here's the discussion out in the National Weather Service in St. Louis. It really doesn't give a snowfall accumulation forecast. I think that it gives a really good time frame. Freeze the frame right here if you need to, but it does just say light snow accumulations between a half inch to an inch are expected on grassy and elevated surfaces this afternoon through overnight. Locally higher amounts near an inch and a half are possible. We'll see what happens with this. We will, they're saying that while snow will fall across some areas during the evening rush hour, the chance for travel impacts is low, 20%. And that makes sense. Unless you get just a crazy burst of snow in this region, I don't think it's going to accumulate on the roads much. Could be totally wrong, and I have been, and many people have with these upper level lows. We'll see what happens. But, here's kind of the beginning stages of the evolution of this energy right here. We're kind of actually working from the future to more of the present in this situation because this is, the origin of this is a little bit further north. But, you are dealing with some moisture this morning up here in Wisconsin. In fact, here's the beginning stages of this. Snow is being reported just west of the city limits of Milwaukee. Snow being reported now in Janesville. Madison, you're getting snow even though it shows pink. Snow is being reported down here, an hour or so, west of Chicago. You're getting reports of freezing drizzle, which I don't know about that, but we'll just buy it here. But that is some heavy precipitation. Yeah, let me know what you're seeing in Janesville, Madison. Of course, by the time this video drops, maybe this is lessening up, but you got a lot of moisture funneling down, and it's about to enter better environment aloft. So this is heading right towards Davenport, Iowa City, even Cedar Rapids, down to Burlington, Quincy, and eventually making it down to St. Louis. And we do have a report from the earlier snowfall of snow is accumulating on the grassy surfaces. So that tells me that I think your ground temperatures are beginning to cool down here in St. Louis. But we watched the evolution of this throughout the morning. And here it goes. I think that you could be dealing with this throughout the afternoon. I think by the time you get into the evening hours, I think this lessens up. You could get enough cold air to get a burst of snow around the Green Bay area later this evening. A little last kind of band of snow making its way through. Not a huge deal at all, especially for you guys' standards up here. But you guys haven't seen a lot of snow. National Weather Service going for very small totals. Dusting of snow. But you guys got to let me know what you're seeing in Janesville. I'd be interested to see how this is performing upstream. As it makes its way downstream, I think that could give us an idea what happens downstream as far as St. Louis and all these other surrounding areas. So For now, between now and the next 12 hours, going for a half an inch. The blend of all models. Let's see what it's going for, and a little bit more. It says, hey, maybe an inch or two of snow could fall down here in southeast Wisconsin. So we'll see what happens. You guys keep me updated in that region. Even these small events, I love seeing the snow. I do. Out west, just some rain showers in northern Cal. Really, most of this moisture is surging into western Canada. I think we'll be dealing with some on and off rain showers around the Medford, Eugene area as we're getting into this evening. San Francisco points north up the northern California coastline. I think we'll be dealing with just some on and off rain showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, maybe. Could get some heavier rain later tonight in northern California, but it looks like a bigger system's about to make its way in. We'll see what happens with that, and we'll give you some updated information on that as it gets closer. But temperatures, a much cooler day. Across the Mississippi Valley, the deep south. I think it'll get into the 50s where it says the 40s here. I really do. But still a cool day, around average for your wintertime temperatures. Much above average in the northeast, where your temperatures are rising well above freezing. This is the time of the year where temperatures on average are well below freezing, depending on your location. Getting into the 50s into the Delmarva region, Midwest, even though it's chilly, it's still above average. And there's that pocket of cooler temperatures where there is snowpack on the ground in Nebraska. But we move our way to the west, and this is what it's looking like. So, really no one super above average, super below average. Montana, this is certainly above average, as 50s are getting all the way up into Canada. So that's definitely above average temperature-wise. So let's move forward. As we make our way into Friday morning and then the rest of the next 24 hours after that, here's the duration of the rest of this event. And we kind of already showed you kind of a sneak peek at this. But as we are making our way into tomorrow morning, into later in the morning, about midday. Check it out. This is around midday tomorrow. And we do have snow showers getting into the Cumberland Plateau, getting all the way down into northern Georgia, maybe even some flurries down here in northern Alabama. Even shows a little bit of snow in the higher elevations of Virginia. On and off rain to snow showers, back and forth, I think, for Kentucky. And, you keep this going here. And I think as you get to about the middle of the day, you're going to struggle to stay snow in western Kentucky. I think you could switch back and forth from rain to snow depending on the intensity. But the Cumberland Plateau right in here, guys, I think that you guys could get an on and off snow showers tomorrow. You're just going to have to get heavier bursts of snow for this to accumulate. And I think you will get some light accumulations in the Cumberland Plateau and certainly in the higher elevations of the mountains of North Carolina and Virginia and West Virginia and Tennessee. And then a heavier moisture begins to make its way in. And let's see what kind of graphic I got here. Here it is. The heavier moisture begins to work in. Just a closer look at this. This is getting into about 2 to 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. There's the snow showers in the Cumberland Plateau right here. Some flurries flying around the Nashville area. You'll struggle with temperatures, but I definitely think you can get some flurries at least and some rain and snow showers. But look, this is around 2 to 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. You got rain and snow showers around in the Huntsville area, Florence, northeast Alabama, which is some higher elevated regions right in here. Just some rain showers east of the mountains. And to keep this going, and maybe a heavier push of moisture comes in a more favorable time of the day for snow as we get into the 8 to 9 p.m. range. This is a push of moisture that I'm watching that this could drop accumulations as we're getting into tomorrow night. Cumberland Plateau is very favored here. Nashville, I think you could switch from rain to snow and go back and forth. I don't think you're going to get much in the way of any accumulations, but we'll see. And then we're getting deeper into tomorrow night, and I think we'll continue to deal with just lingering snow tomorrow night. But I think you could get a several-hour period in the Cumberland Plateau of it. Eastern hills of Kentucky also, I think you could get some bursts of snow. And I think this snow will add up in the Smokies and the higher elevations of Tennessee and North Carolina. I think a couple inches of snow could add up in those regions for sure, probably easily in these areas. But you are seeing some snow trying to sneak into areas of North Georgia. Now the NAM, much more aggressive, just looks colder too. And I don't really buy it, but I will show it. And we're getting into tomorrow afternoon, some light snow. Maybe at times moderate snow, making its way through Nashville tomorrow evening, Huntsville, Florence. Look at this heavy snow in northern Alabama. And then we continue to make our way forward here. We're getting into tomorrow night. Still just scattered snow showers, snow flurries, light snow. This is trying to make it all the way down to Birmingham. And then as we're getting into the wee hours of the morning, Saturday morning, got some snow flurries trying to make it all the way to Atlanta. And it's still ongoing in West Virginia and Kentucky, even southern Ohio getting a little bit of action down here. So we'll see if it happens. We continue to pull this through, and I think by the time we get into midday Saturday, it's about over. So what about snowfall accumulations in this region? Well, like I said, the National Weather Service not giving much for Northeast Arkansas. It's throwing a bone for, sections of Western Tennessee, but not a whole lot. We make our way further east. I like this forecast for the Cumberland Plateau. I think a half an inch to 1 inch is a good forecast. And you can obviously tell, I know I say the Cumberland Plateau a lot, but it's always an area that's favored in these kind of setups. I think a little bit of light snowfall accumulation is possible right up against the higher elevations of eastern Kentucky. Light snow is possible for areas of the mountains of Virginia, North Carolina, and Tennessee, but not a whole lot. Inch and a half, 2 inches. A few inches are possible in the higher elevations of Maryland, PA, and certainly West Virginia. You look at the blend of all models, I could see this happening. I could see somebody squeezing out an inch and a half in the Cumberland Plateau if we can get a period of heavier snow for about an hour or two. Helps to cool down the temperatures, helps to cool down the ground temperatures, and just helps in general if you like snow. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm not going to show the short range model guidance because they overdo it always. But, we will watch for, maybe an overachiever somewhere. I think it'll happen somewhere, whether it's up in Missouri, whether it's down in Tennessee, northern Alabama. I think it'll happen somewhere. But speaking on this winter weather threat for Maine, really and honestly, I just should probably just have the frame up for Maine. I think as we get into Friday afternoon, the GFS is showing, hey, wintry mess begins for Maine. Some snow starts to pick up in intensity tomorrow evening for Maine. We are getting into the overnight hours, waking up Saturday morning, and it's showing some snow even back here in central New York, northern Vermont, northern New Hampshire. Heavier snow, more widespread snow in the central and northern portions of Maine. And then this pulls out. Could be a bigger system for Atlantic Canada, like New Brunswick. We'll certainly watch that, but as of now, nothing huge showing up, but that could change. Now, what about the European model? European model still likes this scenario as we're waking up tomorrow morning for a lot of freezing rain in central areas of Maine. That pink you see on your screen for tomorrow morning, it's not like this is 100 hours out, it's tomorrow morning, still likes a lot of freezing rain when the GFS says not of the freezing rain. So, this brings a 6 to 9, 12-hour period of freezing rain for areas of central Maine. Then it switches it to snow tomorrow evening. Could be heavy at times. Could have some cold air catching up with some lingering moisture up here because we have a lot of energy around. We do. There's just not a lot of phasing of this energy. So we still got energy back here in New York, PA. So, the Euro's saying when waking up Saturday morning, some snow will be flying around, especially in these higher elevations of the Catskills and definitely in the Adirondacks and just the hilly regions of PA. Some more snow than snow in those areas, more snow than rain in those areas, more rain than snow in the lower elevations. But we will watch for, some snow to add up in these areas. I think it's possible. And then we continue to move forward in just some back-end energy throughout the weekend. I think it could be a wintry weekend for certain areas of the interior Northeast. The I-95 corridor continues just to get a rainy start in the winter, though. National Weather Service forecast for Maine, a few inches is possible. This is not a blockbuster event for you guys, the standards. Now, for us in Columbia, if they were calling for 2 to 4 inches of snow, that would make our entire winter in my location in central South Carolina. But not up here. You guys should already have a foot and a half of snow on the ground, snowpack, but you just don't. It's just been a rough start in the winter, which we were kind of thinking December was going to be like that for the East. Freezing rain, it throws a bone to freezing rain. Let's hope this doesn't trend upward and the Euro's right, but a few 100ths of an inch of ice, I think somebody definitely will get a 1/10 of an inch of ice. So a little bit of ice, a little bit of snow up here. That's why you got the winter weather advisory. So moving past this system, okay, at this point, we're starting to get to around the New Year's Eve, New Year's Day time frame, which is right around the corner, quite literally. It shows between the 2nd and the 6th of January below average temperatures for the southern tier of the country, from the southwest all the way to the southeast. Above average temperatures for the northern portion of the country, which is typical for El Nino. This looks just like El Nino to me. But it's not as well above average as we have been seeing. So I think you're going to start to cool down. Near normal, right in between. Now, you compare this But oh man, they're calling for a below average temperatures for the south and above average precipitation for the south. This has to be a great look for winter weather, right? I would say not so fast. I still think, say you get a day that's just slightly below average, which is in that light blue right here. Guys, that's only probably, in my opinion, probably a degree or two, maybe 3 degrees below average. And I know that's not exactly what this graphic means. I know that. But in my opinion, that's what we're going to see. So, there could be an 80% chance of below average temperatures. But there could be an 80% chance of it being 2 degrees below your average high. And that's below average temperatures, technically. And so you got to look at it that way. So to me, this is a pattern that supports some chilly rain, and your favorite areas, like, for example, the Mid-South points north, the mountainous regions of the Southern Alps points north. And then, but you got to think, once you get into this area, you start to get a chance of below average precipitation. So you meet in the middle somewhere around here, and that's where I think you'll have a winter weather chance. Now, we don't know exactly how this is going to unfold, but I don't think this is the true cold air that we need for anything substantial for the south. I think the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic could work something out with this. I think the mountainous regions could work something out with this. And to say all that, I think that things could change fast in the next 7 to 14 days. So I'll leave it at that. If you look at the 8 to 14 day range, it shows something very similar. The south, below average temperatures, above average precipitation. So you keep this going, guys, and we look at a system around New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. We got northern stream energy up here, just in the form of some snow. I think it could be a snowy start to your new year up here in the interior Northeast. There's enough cold air around, light, moderate snow. Here comes the system moving up. It's just cold enough, which is that same area we were just talking about for a little snow from this system. But for us in the south, as we're getting into the afternoon of the January 1st, it's just rain. It's not cold enough. Might be a chilly rain, but it's rain. Snow flying in the Southern Alps, and I can hear people already watching this and thinking in their heads like, it's winter's over. It's canceled. It's not. Guys, I mean, if you think about it, this winter is going the exact way most people thought it was. Unless you watched YouTubers that were saying we were going to have this super cold winter the entire winter, all of that, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus. I don't do that here. But of course, people love watching the winter weather predictions, even if it's like May or June before the next winter. And I would argue for you folks to not watch those. They are not great to watch. They're fun to watch, but if you're going to watch them and in your head think, man, I'm really, really excited about winter now, I would not to be a Debbie Downer, I would say, hey man, not so fast, man. Hold your horses a little bit. Please don't believe this stuff. It's fun to look at, but I would not believe it. And that's why, guys, I don't make a winter weather prediction. A lot of people ask me that in the fall, late summer, like, Mitch, when are you going to drop your winter weather forecast? I don't do them. I don't think that we know enough about what's happened in the past with weather to accurately predict the season out. So enough with all that. But we are watching the system around January 1st. This could be cold enough. There's an energy up here. You just don't really see it. And that's why you have just some splotches of light blue. There's certainly energy down here. I think it could be a rainy New Year's Day, just like it was a rainy Christmas Day. I think it could be a rainy New Year's Day for areas of the Deep South. I think it could be cold enough for snow in the Southern Alps, mountains of North Carolina, Tennessee. And then this moves off. You think it's about to get quiet, and then you have another piece of energy that swings down. This is kind of new off the GFS. Around January 2nd, delivers another period of snow, potentially. It's not a forecast, potentially. Even though we're only 132 hours out, the models with the energy is just everywhere. That's why I keep saying something could come up out of nowhere. I wouldn't say within 12 hours of it happening, but I could say within 100 hours of it happening. But, this system kind of blossoms here, tries to do something. This is just a chilly rain, though, for the Carolinas. We get past that, and there's another system coming up. But what about the Euro for that system we just talked about around New Year's? Here it is. Energy dives in a lot further south. Some northwest flow kind of setting up for the Appalachians. A little bit of light snow for just interior sections of the Mid-Atlantic, Northeast. Rain in certain areas, snow in others. There's the energy down here. Kind of the same place as the GFS. Afternoon of the 1st. energy to the south, I would say the Euro is colder, but because this cold air mass kind of comes down deeper, it suppresses this energy further south. Therefore, there's nothing to really yank this further north because this energy to the north is probably not that strong to really yank on it. But this does bring a snow event for West Virginia and just a chilly rain for areas of Georgia. But this is close. The thing that I continue to keep watching here is the track. Notice the track of all these systems. Look how they take that favorable track for snow in the south, even eventually on up the eastern seaboard for everybody else too. You notice that track? That's a beautiful track. But we have marginal cold air. I would argue not a lot of cold air. Now, you see this pocket of cold air right here is trying to do something as we're getting into the second around Virginia, the Delmarva region, but it never does. So there's a storm signal there. I don't think it's very strong, but it's there. It's always been there over the last, I would say, 4 to 5 days. What about moving past that storm system? Starting to get to the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of January. Here comes another storm system. There's that beautiful track we like to see across the deep south for snow. There's not a lot of cold air in place. This is typical with El Nino. El Ninos really start to fire in late January and February, guys. They really do. You struggle with cold air because of the Pacific and El Nino. And remember, our cold air source got completely obliterated, and it continues to do get messed up because of that Pacific air we talked about several days ago that got blasted into Canada. So our cold air source is modified. It's not quite there. So we're getting into the 3rd of January, and it's once again, you get another system. This is, getting into January 3rd, 4th. It's only cold enough for the mountains. There it is, in North Carolina, Tennessee, and North Georgia. Cold rain, chilly rain in the Carolinas, Georgia, Alabama, Virginia. There's energy up here, you just don't see it. But the GFS really just doesn't get its act together with that system. And then we get past 7 days out, you show another fantastic track. Energy trying to catch up with it here, colder air making its way in. These connect. 985 low, connection here with the northern stream. What do you get around like 2 weekends from now, January 6th, 7th range? You get your first major winter storm of the season in New England, with a cold air punch behind this bringing northwest snow. Not really an event for the southeast, but you start to see it. And I think this is possible before we make a flip to something different, which I'll talk about here in a second. Do I think that's a forecast? Absolutely not, guys. I mean, we're 10 days out. But I think that's something we watch. We watch all this energy. What about the Euro? The Euro, with that other energy, it's same thing as a GFS. Around the 4th and 5th, just a chilly rain. Beautiful track for the southeast, no cold air. But the Euro misses the connection with this northern stream, with this right here. And that's why on the Euro, there's nothing for the northeast when there's a huge snowstorm for the northeast on the GFS. And you can see how the energy misses completely on the Euro. Here it comes. Here's the southern stream energy, vigorous. Here comes the northern stream energy, vigorous. Complete detachment, no phasing at all, so they miss one another. If I showed you the GFS, they would connect. So what about the European ensemble? Let's just go all the way through the evening of the 9th. There's a decent signal for the interior northeast, looking like a signal was building back in place for the Great Lakes region. A lot of this is for what falls over the next 24 to 48 hours, but still, there is a signal for the Mid-South. And some of that is for what falls coming in the next 48 hours. But there's something building there. If you look at the GFS ensemble, which, somebody made a good comment, a good point in the comments. It's not the most reliable thing to look at. But, I do show it. I try to compare all model guidance. And it's a lot more heftier of a signal just for the eastern U.S. in general. So, going forward, guys, and man, this video is going on a lot longer than I want it to, but here we are. Going forward, I really like the idea. All ensemble guidance shows it for a big trough. And here it is, the blue. Big trough to drop out west. I really strongly feel that this is going to happen. And this is because of the blocking up here in the north. Remember we were talking about the sudden stratospheric warming? I think this is because the results of that. You got that negative NAO up here, the blocking in Greenland. This is a massive trough dropping into Canada. I think this is going to happen. I just have a hunch it's going to happen, and I think this is going to bring that cold air source that we're lacking between now and about the 10th. I think this is going to bring it right here. It's going to bring it out west first. I think this is going to bring a period of above average temperatures to the eastern U.S. as we are getting into the second and the third week of January. I think it's not. I think there's still going to be snow chances, mainly for the northern sections of the eastern U.S. But man, this trough signal is there. It's loud too. And I think there's going to be some sort of big storm system in between the trough and the ridge that really ignites something bigger. That's my take. That's my long range take. I really like this. And then if you keep this going, guys, this drops a massive trough into the entire lower 48 with a lot of cold air behind it. This is what really cools down our cold air source, which is Canada. Okay? I really like this look. I do. Patience is key. We got a lot of teasers. We have made that pattern shift, but it's not the pattern shift that's going to bring substantial snow for the south, maybe not even for the eastern and central U.S., but I do like what is setting up kind of in the longer range. And really, this starts to show up as early as day 10. You look at the European ensemble, same thing. Big trough, digs out west, and then it starts to move into the eastern U.S. And you're going to have a lot of energy flying down because you have an El Nino. You really like that look if you're a winter weather fan. That's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. God bless all y'all, and I'll do it all again for you folks this evening.